Welcome back to Superly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
Today, we're diving into some language straight from a SpeakDuo lesson. We've got 8 phrases lined up.
That's right, and remember, if you want to put these into practice, like right away, you can head over to SpeakDuo.com.
Good point. You can meet people from all over, practice your English on video calls, and really build that confidence.
Exactly. So let's get started with these high-impact phrases for advanced learners. Better articulation, more nuance.
Okay, kicking things off with to never give up on something, someone.
Right. This basically means you keep trying, you keep believing in something, even when it's, really difficult.
Yeah, despite the obstacles. Now, you could just say to persist. That's maybe more intermediate.
Sure, persist works, but never give up has a different feel, doesn't it?
Totally different. That's the nuance. Persist feels a bit steady, maybe even mechanical sometimes. Whereas to never give up, that really emphasizes the emotional side, the commitment, the willpower involved.
Yeah, it sounds much more personal, almost aspirational.
Exactly. Persist is descriptive. Never give up shows that deep personal drive.
Like the example, he never gave up on his dream of becoming a pilot.
Right.
Even after several application rejections, you really feel that inner belief.
Precisely. Or think about an IELTS context, maybe reflecting on something personal.
Okay.
When asked what I'll never give up on, the answer is learning languages. It's part of who I am. It connects to identity.
Yeah, that hits differently than just, I persist in learning languages. Much stronger.
Okay, moving from that internal willpower to, action. Number 2 is to face challenges.
Which means basically dealing with difficult situations or obstacles head on.
Right. Now, compare that to simply encountering difficulties. Encountering sounds a bit passive, like you just stumbled upon them.
Yeah, like they happen to you.
Exactly. But to face challenges, that implies a choice, a deliberate, active decision to confront the obstacle.
Taking ownership, maybe.
Yes, definitely. It's key language, especially in like a work or leadership context. It sounds proactive.
So in a meeting, you might say, our team needs to face challenges in the current market conditions.
By implementing the new strategy immediately. Yeah, it's a call to action.
And personally?
Maybe reflecting on a past experience. Starting a new job was tough, but because I chose to face challenges directly, I learned a tremendous amount.
During the process. Framing it as growth, I like that.
Now, speaking of challenges, sometimes the urge is to do the opposite. Phrase number 3, to run away from something.
Okay, so avoiding or escaping something difficult, something unpleasant.
Yeah, you could compare it to avoiding temporarily.
But running away sounds stronger? More negative?
Definitely stronger, and usually carries a negative connotation. It suggests you're not just delaying, you're actually abandoning responsibility.
Like you're not even trying to solve the problem.
Pretty much. Now, you raised a good point earlier when we discussed, is it always bad? What about strategic withdrawal?
Right, if a project is genuinely failing.
Exactly. So in advanced usage, you differentiate. Running away implies more panic, maybe emotional avoidance.
Okay.
Like the example, instead of running away from problems in the project plan, we should try to solve them collectively. That sounds like avoiding the hard work.
Got it. And personally, maybe someone felt overwhelmed?
Yeah. I once wanted to run away from a situation when I felt overwhelmed at work, but I stayed and figured it out. That internal struggle.
That struggle, that experience, it often leads to learning something, right? Which brings us to number 4, to teach someone a lesson.
Ah, yes. Making someone learn through experience, usually after a mistake or a difficult time.
Now, this is quite different from, say, offering advice.
How so?
Well, offering advice is proactive. It's guidance given beforehand. Teaching a lesson is reactive.
Reactive. Meaning?
Meaning the learning comes from the consequence itself. The situation, the mistake, that's the teacher, not necessarily a person giving instructions.
Okay. Interesting point, though. Could using teach someone a lesson sound a bit condescending? Paternalistic, maybe? Especially at work?
That's a really sharp insight. Yes, it could. The phrase itself might imply a hierarchy, even if the learning is valuable.
So how do we use it appropriately?
Often, We use it when describing the natural outcomes of errors, kind of impersonally. Like, losing that major client taught our sales team a valuable lesson about thorough preparation.
Ah, so the market taught the lesson, not the manager explicitly teaching them.
Precisely. And on a personal level, it's often about perspective shifts. Life has taught me a hard lesson. I learned not to take good health for granted.
Right. A profound realization from hardship. Okay.
So we've talked about facing things, running away, learning lessons. Let's shift a bit to how we talk about stories, especially real ones. Phrase 5 is a collocation, to be based on a true story.
Okay. Common phrase for films, books. How's it different from, say, inspired by historical events?
Good question. Both link to reality, but based on a true story usually suggests a closer link.
Closer how?
Often following specific people's experiences, maybe a survival story or biography, it feels more direct, more aligned with documented facts.
Right. Less artistic license than just inspired by. Makes sense. That closeness probably drives the emotional connection.
Exactly. So if someone asks about a movie you liked for perhaps an IELTS question, the film I described is based on a true story about a team's extreme survival in Antarctica.
Gives it weight. Or expressing a preference. I prefer movies based on true stories because they feel more emotional and relatable.
Than purely fictional ones. Yeah, common feeling.
All right, sticking with media, another collocation. To summarize the plot. Number 6.
Meaning, basically, to briefly describe the main events of a story. What happens in order.
Okay, and how does that differ from, say, discussing the themes?
Ah, big difference. Summarizing the plot is all about the sequence of events. What happened first, next, last. Purely narrative.
Got it. While discussing themes is about the deeper meaning, the ideas, the messages.
Exactly. Motifs, underlying concepts. Now, you mentioned using summarize the plot in an office context?
Yeah, like, my manager asked me to summarize the plot of the new corporate training video in a memo.
Okay. But plot for a training video? Does that sound right? Or is synopsis maybe a better fit professionally?
Excellent point. That's about register, isn't it? Summarize the plot is super common for movies, books, casual chat.
Right.
In a very formal business memo, yes, synopsis or overview of key events might sound more polished. But for many everyday work requests, summarize the plot is fine, depends on the context.
Good distinction. And we've all been there. Not really. I always end up telling too many details when I try to summarize the plot of a movie.
Yes, guilty as charged. Okay, moving towards preparation for speaking or writing. Number 7, to organize one's thoughts.
Meaning to arrange your ideas clearly before you actually speak or write them down.
Okay, how's that different from just recalling information?
Process of structuring that recalled information, putting it in logical order, making it coherent so you can communicate it effectively.
So it's specifically for articulation.
Exactly. Crucial when you're under pressure. Like, I need a moment to organize my thoughts before I can present the quarterly figures to the executive committee.
Makes sense. Or just as a general communication habit. When speaking in public, I definitely organize my thoughts beforehand. It helps me sound more confident and clear.
Absolutely. And finally, our 8th phrase, another useful collocation. To recap something.
Meaning to quickly summarize or review the key points.
Yeah. Now, is that just the same as reiterating a statement?
Not quite. Reiterating usually means repeating one specific point, maybe for emphasis.
Okay.
But to recap is broader. It's more of a holistic review, looking back at multiple points from a discussion or session.
Oh, like making sure everyone's on the same page?
Exactly. Ensuring alignment, confirming understanding. It's great for closing things out.
Like, before we adjourn, let's recap what we discussed today and assign action items. Standard meeting practice.
Totally. Or even for studying. I usually recap after a study session by taking short notes and explaining the main ideas in my own words. Reinforces the learning.
Okay, great set of phrases. Shall we see how well we've absorbed them? Time for a quick quiz.
Let's do it. We'll give you the question and options. Remember the phrase we're asking about?
And yeah, feel free to pause the podcast here if you need to think about the answer for each one, and we'll give the answer right after.
All right. Question 1. What does to never give up on something mean? Is it A, to take a break when things get too challenging, B, to continue believing or working toward it despite difficulties, C, to ignore something until it improves on its own?
Take a moment if you need it. Okay, the correct answer is B. Remember, to never give up on something is all about continuing to try or believe despite the challenges. Think of that pilot example, the emotional commitment.
Question 2. If someone says to face challenges, they mean A, to confront difficulties instead of avoiding them, B, to accept that life has no problems, C, to watch others deal with problems from afar.
Feel free to pause. And the answer is A. To face challenges means deliberately confronting difficulties, not avoiding them, like choosing to tackle the tough parts of a new job head-on.
Question 3. To run away from something means A, to avoid dealing with a difficult issue or situation, B, to move quickly toward an opportunity, C, to face your fears with confidence.
Pause if you like. The correct answer here is A. To run away from something typically means avoiding a difficult issue, often with that negative sense of dodging responsibility, like not wanting to solve project problems.
Question 4. When you teach someone a lesson, you A, give them detailed instructions on what to do next, B, show kindness by forgiving their mistake immediately, C, help them realize something important through experience.
Thinking time. The answer is C. To teach someone a lesson involves helping them learn something important through experience or consequences, like how losing that client taught the sales team about preparation.
Question 5. A movie based on a true story is one that A, contains completely fictional and invented details, B, uses fantasy elements to exaggerate real life, C, is inspired by real events or real people.
Pause if needed. Correct answer is C. A movie based on a true story is inspired by real events or people, suggesting that closer alignment to reality we talked about.
Question 6. To summarize the plot of a movie means A, to briefly describe the main events without every detail, B, to memorize every line of dialogue, C, to give your personal opinion about the ending.
Take a second, and the answer is A. To summarize the plot is about briefly describing the main sequence of events, distinct from discussing themes or opinions.
Question 7. If someone says they need to organize their thoughts, they A, prefer to forget what they were thinking, B, want to arrange their ideas clearly before speaking, C, plan to ask someone else for clarification.
Pause to think. Correct is B. To organize their thoughts is that active process of structuring ideas clearly before speaking or writing, essential for clear communication.
And finally, question 8. To recap something means A, to correct errors made during a discussion, B, to review or repeat the main points briefly, C, to express disagreement with a summary.
Last chance to pause. The correct answer is B. To recap something means to briefly review or repeat the main points, often used at the end of a discussion for alignment.
Okay, that's our quiz done. Hopefully that helps solidify those nuances. We looked at things like, the subtle but important difference between running away and maybe a strategic withdrawal.
Yeah, and understanding those nuances, like when summarize the plot is fine versus when synopsis might be better, that's key for sounding really fluent and confident.
Absolutely. Using these kinds of phrases effectively will definitely elevate your English.
Well, that wraps up this session focused on advanced vocabulary from SpeakDuo.
Thanks for tuning in.
And don't forget, visit SpeakDuo.com to keep practicing with real people. We look forward to our next critique.